Well, the Dutch Women's Council, the Nederlandse Vrouwen Raad, is very pleased to present this parallel online event during the Commission of the Status of Women 2024. Our meeting is titled Stop the Gender-Based Violence, Address Women's Poverty and Dependence. We are proud to present 6 fantastic speakers and welcome the almost, 100 registered participants. My name is Levi Vogelpoel. I'm a representative for the Dutch Female Physicians Society at the Dutch Women's Council, together with Christine Everts, representative of the European Women's Lobby and Observatory on Violence Against Women and Girls, and Monique Beute, both from the Dutch Women Council. We are your hosts for this meeting. Our chair, Astrid van Heumen, and our UN Women's representative, Hoba Gul, will be joining us too, and for them also a special welcome. In the next presentation, Monique Beute will take us to the project The New Future, From Violence Back to Work. Monique Beute started her career as a volunteer coordinator in the runaway shelter home for girls, and then she started as a project leader in the field of employment, always targeting groups that need some extra assistance. After 10 years, she returned to her old passion, becoming the manager of the shelter home organization in her hometown. In the recent years, she is a project leader of the Foundation 180. Her job is to develop and coordinate practice and evidence-based interventions to boost the participation and employment of target groups that need some help. The intervention, My New Future, is one of them. And Monique, we are so happy to have you here and so excited to hear about your project.
Thank you so much, Levi, and thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to tell you a little bit about my new future. In Holland, we say de Nieuwe Toekomst. It's quite a practical thing I'm going to tell you about, and we have a little twist in this presentation of mine because it's about economic independence for women, but it's also about gender-based violence in the domestic sphere. And this intervention combines the two. My New Future is an intervention that specifically focuses on the economic independence for young women or women of 18 plus mostly, who have experienced gender-based violence in the domestic sphere by a partner or an ex-partner. Next dia. Thank you. What I'm going to talk about is about the gender-based violence in the Netherlands, a little bit ciphers, then the intervention My New Future, what is it and how is it working, the results of the intervention. I'll tell you a little bit about the social costs and benefits, something about the quality of the intervention, and then you have some time for questions. Next dia. Okay, let's first see some ciphers about gender-based violence in the Netherlands in the domestic sphere. Every year, 15,200 victims of women aged 18 and older in the Netherlands are victim of violence by a partner or an ex-partner. And this violence occurs monthly, weekly, or even daily. It's in the news almost every day at this moment, and not only in the Netherlands, I suppose, but also in Italy and other countries, I suppose everywhere. Well, then 20% of all women in the Netherlands have ever been physically abused by a former partner. 11% of all women in the Netherlands experience sexual violence by a former partner. 3% of all women in the Netherlands have shunned their own home for fear of violence. And 25% of all women in the Netherlands have ever experienced stalking, which is, of course, all these kind of things are not very happy things. It's all, it has a big traumatic effect on women. Next one, please, Christine. What about the intervention? What is it? What am I talking about? My New Future is the only gender-sensitive intervention in the Netherlands that specifically focuses on labor market participation and prospects of economic independence for women who have experienced domestic violence. The intervention consists of a 3-month group training together with peers. So it's a group training specifically meant for women who have experienced domestic violence and are now out of that situation. Mostly they live in sheltered homes. That's not necessary. You can also live in a city and see, hey, there's my new future. I would like to be there because I think I could benefit from it. So it's a 3-month group training with peers, and then it's coupled with a 9-month period of intensive personal counseling by a female volunteer coach, which is quite interesting because the group training starts to change the way the women think about themselves, about their self-esteem, about their talents, about the work experience they had when they were younger. And the volunteer coach is able to go on with this with one of the participants and work with her for 9 months and try to stabilize the woman. As you can see, I've put a woman on a bike because in the Netherlands we like to be on bikes. The effective mechanisms of this intervention are we've looked at a couple of effective mechanisms, and we've put them into this intervention to make it as strong as possible. And you can see this woman say, my job offers me security. My work is the place where I feel like a normal person, where I belong. On the lower part of this little picture is also quite an interesting drawing. You can see that this is an intervention that pulls women from the social work, from aid, to labor, which puts them in a different position, in a more powerful position. It has already been said by the speakers before me. To gain your own money, to be socially or economically independent, is not a way to be sure that you can prevent violence, but it is certainly something that prevents it. It's not a wonder thing, but it's if you can gain your own money, it's something that makes you independent of your ex-partner or your partner, and you can go your own way. Yeah. Okay, next one, please. These effective mechanisms, I don't know if you know them, perhaps they're common goods for you. But the intervention, the training is strength and future oriented. It means that the women in the training, and especially the trainer, is trained to make the women in the training look forward and not look back. So you can chat sometimes about the violence that has been in your life, but try to do that at the coffee in the break, but not in the training itself. It's always going on about your strength and about the future. What you do in the training is practicing new knowledge and new skills, which is also a good thing that's also an effective mechanism to learn new things. Well, obviously, peer support is an effective mechanism. Horrible word. In a group training. Then one of the things that makes this training very strong is the intensive coaching by a female volunteer for about 9 months. So you're not left alone after the group training, but you can participate and you can go on with this female volunteer, which, by the way, is also trained to stay strength and future oriented, and also to not become a social worker, but to stay an advisor, to not get drawn too deeply into the former problems of the woman, but to help her with creating a new network, an employer, a network where you can easily find employment. And then last is every woman already in the training, in the group training, makes a custom-made personal development plan with targets and aims and all kind of things, what she would like to do in the future. And this personal development plan, she takes it along. Coach knows about this plan, and they work on this plan together for 9 months. Okay, next sheet. Yeah. If you want to make a training like this work, and I want to make it work, and I want to, my aim is that this training will be part of the larger communities in all of the Netherlands. You have to tell every community again and again what are the results. So we are measuring, and quite we're measuring at the beginning and at the end of the time that the woman has been in the training, and the results are quite good, I must say. I'm surprised by it myself. 34% finds a job, and that is at the end of the training. So it's not 2 or 3 years later, but it's during the training or at the end of the training. 33% start a training course. That can also be a very simple training course. It can also be a training like talking the Dutch language better, or learning to ride a bike, or learning to do a computer, how you open it, how you close it. But well, every learning aspect counts, and 33% starts to learn something new, which is always a step forward on being economically independent, I think. And then 87% have a plan for the future. Yeah, that's about it. So they have a better plan for their future. And then the main question of every community is, okay, when we're going to invest into this training, what will we benefit from it? So we have asked the Social Finance Netherlands, you can see the logo in the right down under, to help us how we can show the benefits from this training. And at this point, I've done it in euros. I'm sorry for the American people, but it's so not in dollars, but it's more or less the same. So every euro, €1 that is invested in the first group of 8 participants in the first year is counted for by €1.84. So it's almost doubled. And then from the second group on, it even gets better. The story gets even better, because then €1 is worthwhile almost €2.50. And the difference between those two ciphers is because at the first group, you will obviously have to do a lot about organization things. You have to organize it in your city. But the second year, you don't have that problem. So it gets even better, and you get even more money for what you have invested. Thank you. The next slide, please. Okay. Then some questions about some things about the quality of this training. Well, my job, I'm the coordinator in the Netherlands, and well, my job is to make it as quality, to keep the quality as high as possible, or even to make it higher, which is a thing that you have to do if you want to have a good intervention, which is recognized. You can see on the bottom that this intervention is recognized, and it's also included in the Dutch database for effective social interventions, which we're quite happy with. Well, then you have to measure things, like I earlier already said. We measure things, and we make the organizations that work with this. We make them. We teach them how to measure. one of the things they measure is the satisfaction of the participants, the women, the female participants, and they rate this training with a 9 on a rate from 1 to 10. So 9 is quite high. And they also ask the coaches, the female volunteers, how they have experienced the way the organization helps them to help the women, if you know what I mean. And that was rated with an 8.1. Yeah, that's quite, yeah, that's gives an idea.
It's nice.
If you want to invest in women, you can find me here, Foundation 180. You have a telephone number which you can use, and there's also a website where you can go where you can read all about it, but it's all in Dutch. But if you give me a call, we can talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Monique Beute. We are running out of time. I want to ask if we could ask for your help of the speakers, that they maybe might answer the questions in the chat for us. That would give us some leverage in time. Would you be so kind to do that? That would be very much appreciated.